My name's Joanne. I'm in the School of English and Music because my project was interdisciplinary, and my thesis was called Music in the Life and Works of Thomas Moore, 1779 to 1852. My Viva lasted just under an hour, about 50 to 55 minutes, so I was quite lucky. It was very short. It was fine. It's not an experience I'd like to repeat anytime soon. I don't know if I'd call it enjoyable, but definitely doable. Probably by the end of it, actually, I was just starting to get into the swing of it and possibly almost enjoying it, probably because my confidence was growing, and then it stopped. Probably getting some praise for the thesis from the external examiner, which I think is pretty normal. It's a way for them to relax you, and they sort of open with that before they go in with the killer question. But nonetheless, it was still very nice to hear an expert in the area praise the work. The worst moment was probably when my external told me to go to a particular page and tell him what was wrong with that page. So I went into a panic because I didn't know, obviously, what was wrong, or else I wouldn't have included it. And I sat there in silence for a while and just didn't know what to say. And eventually I had to be honest and say, I'm sorry, but I don't know what's wrong with that page. And it was something technical. It was a musical example, and I had picked up something wrong. So he just told me what it was, and it was a minor correction. So actually it was okay. It wasn't the end of the world. I started with the peer-assisted learning for the Viva course. So I went to it and then used their materials, which included details on things to prepare. So rereading your thesis, writing chapter breakdowns, summarising your arguments again for yourself. And I find this to be really useful because it just meant you were going in knowing exactly what your overall arguments were and ready to defend those, and just feeling really prepared, which helped to relax me and grow my confidence. So yeah, just rereading it, doing chapter summaries, breakdowns of the arguments, and researching my external a little bit and thinking about some potential questions he might ask. My supervisor also offered me a mock Viva, which was great because it was the first time I actually realised I would have to be answering these questions. So top tips, I would say the couple, maybe 2 days before, a really quick, good reread of your thesis so that it's really fresh in your head. Because, for example, one of the things my supervisor said was really good about my Viva was that towards the end I was given quite a tricky question by one of the externals. But I remembered something that I had written in my conclusion that basically went against what she was saying. So I was able to say, well, actually, if we turn to the conclusion, I think I've said, and it was a statement that refuted the argument she was making. So that was great, and it showed that it was fresh in my head, and I think they were quite impressed with that. So definitely just know the work inside out, and just try and be relaxed going in. Even though none of the questions I prepared for came up, just the act of doing that really helped and made me feel quite confident going in, and I was still able to use some of the material in other questions. Another thing that my supervisor said to me was you actually have control in the Viva to direct questions where you want them to go, and I tried to do this at points sneakily. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So if there's something you feel you're strong on and you want to talk about, trying to swerve them in one of your answers in that direction can work quite well.